Oh, jeez. Boy, I have to get better at this go live stuff. I was trying to get in on this and it was messing me up. I see we got a couple of people in there. Looks like people are starting to join. And I still have to figure out how to manage all this. Hey, no problem, Parker. No problem, guys. All right, guys are joining in here. What a week it's been, boys and girls. What a week it's been. So, yep, saw the Massachusetts stuff. That's a nice one. It's a state court, which means somebody over there is paying attention to stuff. That's a help. That's a win. Yeah, any libation will work for what everybody's drinking tonight, Skydiver. Dan, are you asking what my carry gun is? It depends. I have a 4-inch 45 or a Glock 19, depending on my mood. So, other things, just kind of, we're dealing with a bunch of stuff with the lawyers, kicking around a bunch of stuff. Hey, Diane, be good to see you back out at the club. How's your time been? Toby, yep, it works. You're in. So, yeah, it looks like the anti-gunners are jumping up and down over the Supreme Court with the Rahimi case. They've been filing their amici briefs. I got a lot of reading ahead of me to catch up on all of those. There's been like 37 filed. So there's a lot going on with that. What else? It's going to be interesting. We've got 3 of the Administrative Procedures Acts, APAs. You got the bump stocks, the frame and receivers, and the pistol brace rule all going up. Range, the third district case on nonviolent felons, is going up, and I think they asked for them to have an extension on filing on that. So I think that Merrick Garland and company would like to not have those 2 issues combined, and they want to slow walk range because range is the better case, amongst a few other things. So, with all that, it's been interesting week at the club. It was hotter than snot and everything. Hey, Warsaw, good to see you. Good to see you. And for everybody, we have the zombie shoot coming up. But also tomorrow is the garage sale / flea market out at ASC. So there's a bunch of stuff. Excuse me. If you want to come out, support the club, and support our litigation fund, come out and see what there is on the tables for pickings and whatever. Toby, no, I have not heard about the ISR agents in Arizona as of today. I was Trying to cut in subgrade on a range today, and I think I finally got it on the middle range. So 2 down, 1 to go. Let me pop over here to Google and just see if anything pops up in the news. Hmm. Not saying anything in Google News on the front. Well, let's just punch in IRS. IRS proposes crypto tax. No, don't see anything else over there. So, oh, that was last week, Toby, about the IRS agents training. That was last week. Yeah. Well, if that's their skill level. Dan, what's my favorite firearm brand? Don't really have a favorite firearm brand. I own several 1911 style guns. Um, I like all kinds of those. So it depends on what you're talking about. But I really don't have a favorite firearm brand. I've owned a lot of stuff, and different guys make different guns for different things. Single actions, bang for buck, River Carroll's. Springfield Armory makes a lot of good stuff. I mean, if you're looking for an M1A, they're about the guys to go to. ARs, most of mine are built. I built them. So I don't have a lot of off the rack ARs. Um, it depends. So, uh, Miles, McGlynn's done until we get to an actual trial. So McGlynn is done with that part. There may be, but he threw back the NSSF suit because he said, oh, okay, it's not as closely related as one might seem. We'll see what happens there. You know what? So long as that's it while we're here, let me click over to a different window, go here, look at my Pacer account, see if anything happened there today. Nope. Nothing happened there today. So, no new judge on the NSFS case. Benitez, I think Benitez is working. I think he was working to get Rhodey on the same level as the other cases. And because of that, I think that um, he's had some health issues and trying to clean stuff up. So that's what I think we've got going on there. Save the humans. Hey, how are you tonight? So, been trying to get some more videos out. Did my right to repair one that I've been thinking about. Didn't turn out exactly as I wanted. Want some more annotations and everything, but editing late at night and all that stuff just takes time. So we'll call it for what it is. But it got the general point across. And the general thing about that is just that I don't see anybody else talking about it. I think FPC does a good job going after the administrative state. I think SAF is spread a little thin, but NRA is not relevant to the litigation fight anymore. They took themselves out of the box. They've got their own in-house problems, and I think their in-house or their outside lawyer that Wayne is using, Mr. Brewer, is just bleeding them dry like a leech. Saved? No, I have not built anything with arrow stuff. Shooter ready. Hey, welcome to the fold. Nice to see you again tonight. CFD, yeah, another 150 brother. Come on out to the club, run some equipment. Let's move some dirt. Let's see. Looking at stuff. Warsaw, the Fifth Amendment stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff going on there. We'll see how long Tom Mag takes to deal with that. I'm going to try to call him next week. Got a bunch of thoughts on some stuff. Wait and deal with our lawyers on a bunch of it. Let's see. Save. Not really. I used to get a lot of my stuff out of our guns. So let me think. I I did acquire some Rock River stuff, and I've had some LMT. Out of that, um, yeah, our guns has been the majority of everything of stuff that I use for builds. I'm not a snob about that stuff. I do think that if you put a good barrel in it, the rest kind of follows. Dan, I don't have a crystal ball that goes out that far. I'm just trying to get through next week. 20 to 30 years? Depends. Is there a civil war? All right, I got to move something. I've got Toby. There's a, what is that? Ah, heavy. Okay. There's an emoji here that's covering up part of your comment. Yeah, I've got some different heavies and stuff like that. Let's see. I got the guys over at Gun Barrel wanting to do something. Let me text them real quick. They want me on their podcast tomorrow, um, so so it looks like I'll be on them tomorrow afternoon about 2 o'clock. And I hear my dog whining because my wife has closed the door to her office. Favorite barrel for tack driving. I have a Rock River 24-inch bull barrel that is way accurate, but I've got a couple other guns that suffice. But that 24-inch gun is something. It's not a lot of fun to lug around. I'll tell you that much. Advice: I would not put off purchases because. So my thoughts have been that the Democrats want to jam a bunch of gun cases, the worst from the optics perspective, like Rahimi, up to the court. They want bump stocks. They want an AWB. They want Rahimi because they're going to run against the court. And they're going to run that, it's illegitimate. Look at how out of touch they are. Never mind that, remember, we're a constitutional republic. A democracy is mob rule. We are not mob rule, although the left seems to think that they rule, that's it. So if we don't, so let's walk through a couple scenarios. Republican president, Republican Senate, fine. Republican president, Democratic Senate, problematic. Now, how problematic? Depends on who goes. If Sotomayor croaks, they're going to, really worry about what's going to happen. If one of the Republican justices croaks, then they're going to play, if it's in the first year, it'll be interesting. They can't in the first 2 years. They could try to do what Mitch McConnell did with Merrick Garland, but it would be slightly more difficult. But Mitch McConnell gave them the opportunity to play that game. It depends on what the Democratic Senate looks like. Is Manchin and Seema from Arizona still there? Every time you think that we ought to take the high road on something, and I think about, well, ever since Clinton's impeachment has been cheapened because of what they went after, because that's just where rage just blinded everything. Clinton was just so bad. We have to get this guy. And Pelosi did the same thing with Trump. I think all of that has diminished impeachment. So here, I think the same thing, that you'll have a problem. You get Joe Biden in a Republican Senate, Biden's got problems. Mitch can do the same thing. You got a Democratic president with a Democratic Senate, and they'll put liberals up there all day long. So depending on who goes, excuse me, if Sotomayor were to croak, it's a 1-for-1. If one of our guys went, look out. They diminished the numbers like 4 boxes said. Now, if one of each were to go, well, then there might be some negotiating, but we'll see. Dirt, yeah, 50 BMG. So the guns have to be registered or become contraband. There's no reloading for 50 BMG, and you have to literally register every round the way it's written. So I think everybody made the connection that the 50 issue is such an outlier that it's gonna literally take a separate lawsuit just to litigate those issues, depending on what comes out of the appellate court. Let's see. Yeah, Toby. Not sure about all that. Let's see. Let's see. Any plans to shave the beard? Not really. I might trim it a little bit, but the problem is we're tail end of August, going on the 1st of September. And usually from September on, I don't do much to let it go, but I've let it go longer this time than I have. So if I cut it close. Doesn't do good for the Santa image, which is kind of fun the last couple of Christmases. Yeah, no problem. Oh, great. Microsoft wants to restart. No, screw you. I hate Microsoft. I really hate Microsoft. Um, no, but I am planning on going to Gun Rights Policy Conference this year. I've never formally attended one before, but I'm definitely looking to go to GRPC this year. Save. No, I have not had any. Although when I had an endoscopy earlier this week, I got asked about a bunch of that. So they actually, when they were in the room for my endoscopy, and they put this recorder on, and everybody's, we're here for an endoscopy and all that. State your name, and I go, Chris Kringle, date of birth 12/25, and the whole room broke up. Yeah. Gun Santa, Tactical Santa. Yep. Sir, nope. There's no, we're pending in front of the Court of Appeals. So you've got our case. You got the case over at the Fourth Circuit. They're going on. You have Benitez and his cases. And now there's stuff in Delaware and whatever. So, nope, no significant movement right now. No, shoot, I haven't. And the Second Amendment laws, I'm going to say it's a Second Amendment Law Center Founders Circle, which is something new that I'm not 100% up to speed on. But DJ, what allegations? Warsaw, I've got so much stuff in my inbox. I'm not exactly sure that I heard or tapped on. If it was in a text, I'll have to look. I've been working on a bunch of stuff and just getting all kinds of stuff. Save instead of cookies and milk. Yeah, sometimes I'm lactose intolerant. DJ, the screenshots clearly show you are trying to flog the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel that was stolen from the park. So the question is, if you didn't take the dog, who did? Are you just the one selling it? What are you talking about? DJ, I have no idea what you're talking about. I own two dogs. They're Llewellyn setters. I bought both of them at fundraising auctions. So, no idea what you're talking about. And I love my dogs. They're hunting dogs. They're great guys. Uh, let's see. Toby, appeals court. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that says that uh, Easterbrook could be a swing. The question is, what's Easterbrook's mentality? Is it Supreme Court got it wrong in four cases? I'm smarter than they are, and I'm going to tell them why, or I'm an inferior court. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. Don't know. Answer that question, I'll tell you how the court case is going to go. I don't know. Ken. I don't know. I have no idea what the manufacturers are going to do on any of that stuff. Warsaw, yeah, I'm working on a couple of patches. I just got to get my guys get the artwork done. Raheem, yo, Redick, hey, good to see you, buddy. DJ, yeah, I have no freaking idea what you're talking about. So, um, Doyle, yeah, my grandson. Hey, sweetie, where's the little guy?
He's in Dad's lap.
Okay. So we got some genetic testing back, evidently says that he's got a gene that's predisposed to seizures. We don't have it all figured out yet. They're playing with some meds. He's doing better. It's just going to be a case of trial and error for a while. That's all we know. Let's see. I'm working through stuff here. Yeah, I'm should another live stream. I haven't done one of these in a while. It's been tough just getting video content. I sit in a dozer all day, and I'll tell you, I sit there and I come up with a bunch of great topics and think about them and argue them in my head, and then I get home and I'm dog tired, especially with the heat this week, and I'm just dog tired. And I sit down because it's not. I have to get my thoughts in order, make my notes. And I mean, like, here, what I'm doing, these are like my notes for a video. This is, what I work on because I don't script all this stuff out. That's the way I testified. It's the way I've always done stuff. Uh, and then I have to record it, try to get it right. We've had my son's family living with us because they've had a sewer issue at their house for the past couple of weeks, trying to get it fixed, which is no small feat. So not having kids scream in the background, although I love my grandkids, just a ton of stuff. It gets difficult, and then by the time everybody goes to bed, I'm tired. And after that, it's just that I got to edit. So, whatever the video is, if you look at the end runtime on one of my videos, figure it's at least that to almost double to edit it and clean it up and put transitions in and do all that little kind of stuff. Let's see. Save a couple of concepts working on. You can always drop me a message and I can talk to you about it. I will be there for the swap meet and everything, and we'll probably stick around for the start of the shotgun event for some food. I'm not hanging out till the last dog is hung. It's just going to be a long day. It's been a long week. Peanut, I disagree with the concept that a permit is required for a right. But before everybody gets wrapped around the axle about carry permits, we need to get rid of the FOID card, and we're working on that. That is, to me, the bigger thing. I mean, when I view how we tackle some things, it's what litigation is going to benefit the most number of people. You can chase these, you know, small theories about stuff. It's like what is going to help the most number of people. and you build a foundation off of that, and that's where it goes. Charles, yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in the Republican Party these days. Just a tip. Yep, I've seen that. Let me see. Over in the stack of stuff here. No, no. I've got all kinds of patches and stuff here. And let's say GMs. Hold on. I've got all kinds of patches. And I had one that was close to that. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, well, let's see. Oh, here, yeah. This one. I've seen just a tip. I've seen that one. I don't know if I have that one. No. Got my garden gnome. And I got all kinds of great stuff tucked away in here. I got to do an entire patch wall up there. Let's see. Saved. No word on Brown. It's back to the trial court. They're probably going to go to a full blown trial. Peanut, no. Concealed is because the courts have not gone past. If if you go back to Heller and what Heller said, and in the part about bear arms, they actually had a whole section in there, and they cited several turn of the century cases. None was one of them. NUNN. And if you go back, and so what you have to do is, all right, they said this, then you go back and read the underlying cases that they cite. And back then they said, look, you can either ban open carry or you can ban concealed carry. You can't ban both. If you ban both, then it's a de facto ban, and no. So under the current Supreme Court status, they've said that you could ban one or the other. You can't ban both. And now under New York, they can require permits for that to a degree. I think parts of that are right for challenge in how some of those permits are administered. Peanut, I agree. I disagree with that. And I think that there's a whole slew of case law to go. Although Kavanaugh said that certain things with regard to background checks and permits were legal in his concurring opinion. So you might lose him on some of that. It'll be interesting to see what the others would say. No, I didn't work for the post office. I just happened to go there and get a bunch of their boxes for shipping stuff. And they also had coming pretty handy for storage stuff around the office. Guys, I'm reading your questions or comments to keep stuff going here because you were waiting on Benitez on a whole bunch of stuff. There were arguments in Ninth Circuit this week on the gun roster list, and one of the lawyers didn't do a very good job. But we're not trying to, one of the problems we have in the 2A community is that there's little coordination. Lots of guys want to be first to the fight and bang their chest, and go on about look what we did, look what we did. And it's a fundraising tool, and I get all that. But being first doesn't always make it the best litigation. I can point that out in a number of cases. So the real issue here is that there is since NRA's had all their problems, there's no real single big dog. And NRA wasn't even that big of a dog in the litigation front at the time because they were always very, very conservative and reserved in how they handled things. Now there are a lot. The New York case was an NRA case. They fronted it, they funded it, they did all that. They just NRA had a habit of not putting their name on it because if the NRA name was on it, they thought the judges would rule against them no matter what. So to stop that from even happening, they put other people up in front. They funded the cases. The problem is there is no singular table. I mean, if we had a high table like John Wick, might be useful. But the problem is, so NSSF has jumped in here in Illinois on the marketing bill. And since it covers the industry, smart on them. Good. They jumped in on the assault weapons ban. I don't think that's necessarily their place. Uh, they got good lawyers. I don't necessarily think. I don't know why I got a frog in my throat now. I don't necessarily think the way they approached it was the best. You've got ISRA. They sling spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks. I don't think they have an overall litigation strategy. What's the issue du jour of the day that we can fundraise off of? GOA comes in. Look, FPC is going after the administrative state. I mean, if you want to cut it up and sit there and say FPC, you go after ATF in the administrative state, that is your field of view. Hang on a second, guys. I just had to clear my throat. Hopefully that worked. And SAF, you work over here. And GOA, you work over here. And if you divvied up the pie and say everybody's going to have a field of expertise to deal with, that would be beneficial to kind of figure out geographic regions and subject matters, but it's not happening. NRA is a Klingon these days. They're just grabbing on and riding coattails. They're not what they used to be. SAF had taken the lead because they brought about Heller. And the reason NRA wasn't all that keen on Heller at the time was because they weren't sure about the court. They didn't want to go up and lose. And SAF was willing to go up and lose. They thought they had it. They thought they had a winning argument. And if you had two kind of swing votes on there with Kennedy and Roberts. And then you saw that we didn't have another case for 13 years after McDonald, and SAF wanted to build on McDonald. And you only had a couple of small places, Chicago being the biggest one, that you could go up against to gain incorporation. Smart move on their part, but most people forget that NRA had a similar case, and the NRA's case was also was against the city of Chicago and Oak Park, and the NRA recouped more money than SAF did. NRA got $1.2 million. So, and those checks are floating around in pictures on the internet and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that too many guys want to beat their chest to be the big dog and say, look what we've done, look what we've done. At the end of the day, when they don't always accomplish a lot. Peanut, they actually, by the incorporation of none in the other cases, they said that if you allow one, it's okay to exclude the other. Back in the day, open carry was seen that of an honorable man, concealed carry was nefarious, and times and everything have changed. So I would disagree. They've actually said that if a state allows concealed, they can ban open carry. Let's see. Yeah, I ain't seen Duncan, but it's probably procedural. Robert, the seventh has as long as they want. If you look at the Fourth Circuit, they argued the Maryland assault weapons ban on December 6th. We are knocking on September 6th in 10 days. So you're looking at 10 months that they've been sitting on that decision. So, and if you look at Atkinson, which came out of the seventh, it took, it took 8 months, and the rumor is that's because Justice Wood was drafting her dissent. Perfecto, yes. Manually operated firearms are not affected under 1.9. Manually operated firearms are affected under the magazine ban in 1.10. Let's see. Let's see. Salty. Why the question about pistol mags with removable base plates? Is ISP attacking them as readily convertible? Is on double stack without that feature. Yeah, that's the way they wrote the law, Larry. And I've maintained that the way they wrote the law means that, you have to understand when I look at the law, I don't look at their intent always. I look at how could a prosecutor like Kim Fox use it against you? How could the state police jam you up with a hostile administration? And because of that, I've taken the position that I have, that magazines with removable base plates are verboten because they're readily convertible to, and I can point to online all kinds of conversions. Um, so that's the way they wrote the law. Save, yeah. I do think that what happened with New York and Heller is the other side pushing back again, like the South did against Brown. It's a very good analogy towards that. Base, no news. No news. Just Friday night. Thought we'd get together, have a cocktail, talk a little bit, just answer some questions because it's easier. I can't keep up with all the comments on videos all the time. No. Yeah, I listen to Weird Al Yankovic a lot. What AWE will we get first? Depending on how right now it's down to us or Maryland. If anybody said that we might be the guys going to the Supreme Court first, I would have said no way. We'd have had Maryland or California by now, but it looks like an Illinois case could be the first one going up to the Supremes. Yeah, Toby, I'm sipping on my stuff. I got a mixer tonight. Option, there may be some other movement and some other litigation before October. We'll see. Yeah, Toby, if you want to sit out on your patio, watch this on your pad and have a cigar, have at it. Good for everybody. Yeah, Ed, GOA can be more aggressive, but remember this: nobody else put lobbyists in every state. NRA did that. Nobody else did. Nobody else paid for either contract guys or put staff on the ground or had an in-house guy covering every state. So, you can beef about the NRA, and the NRA of the last 2 years with what's been going on there is a different NRA than the NRA I worked for. But that is, that's it. I mean, I'll defend them to a degree. They haven't done everything perfectly, but they did do a lot right. And when it came to lobbying, now there are things that they did negotiate on, and I will tell you that there were only a couple of times in my career that we had to make some really hard decisions. The um, safe storage law in Illinois was one of them, and it was like we were going to get jammed. And let me tell you, the way we get jammed is when Republicans get weak need, generally speaking. Back in the day, when Illinois legislature, when we had all kinds of downstate Democrats who were good with us, Democrats only had 64 seats in the legislature. It was real easy to lock things up. But when Republicans there felt weak need, just like the stuff in Congress a year ago, when Republicans got weak need, we got screwed because the Democratic numbers, they couldn't do it with Democrats alone. That's the problem. So when the safe storage stuff was there, it was like we were going to get fucked on something really, really bad. And this is before Heller came around. We were going to get really screwed. And so the decision is, do you sit there and make something that the average guy can comply with and live with? Or do you sit there and just say no to everything? And back then we couldn't say no to everything. And when you have the Republican minority leader, Lee Daniels, going to just screw you, and he was going to drag half his caucus with him because you didn't have a multi-million-dollar war chest to go against them and sit there and take out people to where you could. I mean, if the NRA had spent, you know, some money here and just picked on a couple of people, said, now you crossed us, we're going to come after you, and been successful in that several times, then the Republicans would listen. The Republicans don't listen because they don't do that. So uh, that's part of the problem. So the thing is that, I kind of operated on the premise, first do no harm. And then if there's no way that you're going to beat something, then you have to figure out a way to water it down to make the impact less. In the case of the semi-auto ban, there was no negotiations. Let them pass the worst thing, because in my mind, in that case, post Heller, post McDonald, post New York, the worse they make it, the easier it is for us to knock out in court. So some of my thoughts, having walked the halls of the Capitol, because the problem I had was it's easy to sit behind a computer and say, no compromise. But when you've got the array of people, 2.5 million gun owners in this state, and your decisions affect each and every one of them, you want to make people not run afoul of the law. You want to make it simple for them to comply if there is anything. And in the grand scheme of things, the storage law that they got passed is severely watered down and curtailed to where it doesn't amount to much. It really doesn't. Get your kid a FOID card, you're exempt. Give your kid permission, they're exempt. Um, so it's nothing like the anti-gunners would kick around today. Uh, Letterman, don't know. It all depends on whether or not they get the house. They can't pack the court if they don't have the House and the Senate by good margins and a Democratic president. It takes all three. So long as you got Cinema and Manchin there, that is going to minimize their ability to change the filibuster. So, if the Republicans knock off Tester, uh, there's a lot of math there that it's too early with the tea leaves. Uh, let's see. Yeah, Roman. So if you move arms out of state, you don't register anything, you don't have an endorsement. Yeah, that creates a problem. What's the last song I listened to? Hang on. Uh, Kenny Chesney, Big Revival. It's what's on it's what was up. Let's see. Where am I? I got lost in some of this stuff. Uh, yeah, Letterman. If it can't arrest you, yeah. If I store stuff out of state, it's not here. I'm not in possession. What do you want? It'll be interesting. In from Taiwan, welcome. I guess we are now international. Uh, yo, uh, yeah, Peanut. I talk to the guys. I'll talk to as many people as I can. Let's see. Yeah, they're ISP guys that show up to our range every week, and most of them have no interest in this whatsoever. No, 6. I don't have one of those original Macs. Yeah, okay, Warsaw. Uh, yeah, Chris. That's funny. Everybody gets wrapped around the axle about the vernacular and the verbiage around assault weapons versus whatever. Hey Ryan, no problem. Been doing this for a while. Kind of, guys starting to ask me to make videos, so um, let's see. Where's Peanut? The old Sergeant Mackenzie song. Not sure what that is. Uh, Roaming, the way the law's written, you're supposed to register receivers, parts, everything, mags, attachments, but it looks like they are screwed up in the way they're trying to go about it. Now, Letterman, there are three options. Option number one is registering. Option number two is leaving. And option number three is flipping in the bird and no compliance. I leave it up to individuals as to what they're going to do. Thanks, Peanut, Jacob. Thank you again. Opina one cases will get to the Supreme Court. I would wager to say that if they rule against us in the Seventh Circuit, ours is likely to go up quickly in time that we could be heard this season. It will be interesting. And then people say, well, is Easterbrook slowing us down to stop us from getting Supreme Court review? I don't know if they're that Machiavellian or not. But if the fourth comes out with their ruling against us, we'll definitely take it up. If it goes against the state of Maryland, I think Maryland would likely take it up. Oh, wow, I keep getting stupid notifications from Tribune and stuff. I don't care. Yeah, Warsaw, state's attorneys and sheriffs. There's only been 3 sheriffs say they're going to do anything about this. That's Lake County, Champaign County, and Cook County. What individual police departments do within that, but the state's attorneys, they say they're not going to charge, they're not going to do something. That's the, that's the linchpin. Um, Warsaw, you can actually take them to the range, but in transport to the range, they have to be unloaded and closed into cases if they were a firearm. Save, I think some ISP will follow orders, but we'll see what those orders look like, to be honest with you. Oh, I think Warsaw, I think there's more than 33 states attorneys on our side. Uh, I just think not everybody want to sign their name to a letter and stick their neck out quite that far. Uh, yeah, here, guys. Whoops. This should be the campaign hat for next year, and it has a double meaning, but this is one I used in my union campaign. No mojo. So, other than that, been doing a shit ton of research for some stuff on the registration stuff. That has just been kicking my tail. All kinds of good things we've been digging up and finding in there that we're gonna debate and figure out what the best way to pursue is. Yeah, I like my M1 pin. Uh, Mayor of St. Louis, she's barking up a tree. What do I think though? See, I think everybody's looking at preemption and her ban as virtue signaling like this. I think what that is really about is to give every town and Giffords and all those a chance to attack preemption facially. They've been trying to do it in Pennsylvania. They're trying to do it in Washington. The anti-gunners don't like preemption. And what they want to do is they want to attack it facially. And they need to figure out a way to do that. And that's what I think that stuff is really about. It's about attacking preemption so they can go to court and say, you can't stop us municipalities from doing this. Yet local government is a creation of the state. The state statutes, the state constitution creates it, and therefore you're a political subdivision, and the state can preempt you. But they are desperately looking for ways to challenge that, to undo it. Shooter, yep. That Joe, yeah, he was a real piece of shit. About as corrupt and greedy and as the sitting president is. He's just, yeah. I was very, very happy to work for Bill Dugan. Uh, let's see. Yes, I have those in my toolbox down in the basement. Uh, See, I don't know how to share pictures on here when I'm doing this kind of stuff. That's what I don't know how to do because I would love to. Is there anything here? Pop out dashboard. What is that? That's something else. Managed. No. I don't know how to share pictures and stuff on my screen in the middle of something like this. Because if I did, I'd show you something about headspace and timing. Uh, James, I think there's a lot of anti-gunners that want that. They want to have something kick off so they can say, see. But if it gets to that point, look out. Daniel, yeah, there are guys that if you're a felon or you're doing whatever, you're dirty to begin with, they'll tack it on. And getting messages and whatever. uh, yeah, Gabriel, we're live. This isn't a recorded video. This is me being live, just answering questions and having a chat with the guys and having a cocktail on a Friday night. Jesse, I hauls or U hauls. I don't know. Unless they're drug couriers. Letterman, it's always darkest before the dawn. Uh, I wouldn't be too worried. Massachusetts was a nice bright ray this week. So take the wins where we can get them. Just, you know, there's more wins than losses overall. So let's see. Yeah, they've been wanting to ban body armor for a while. Again, screw you. Peanut, I don't understand the question. Yeah, Warsaw. I know the lawyers that are directly involved in the handgun roster stuff. So, uh, and the state has given up on micro stamping out there. So, and at the same time, New Jersey is trying to move forward. Peanut. I've interchanged bolt carriers in different uppers. The real question is how good the chamber is. That's everything. That's really everything because the lockup on all of that is not quite the same as a bolt gun. Thank you, Bear Paw. Thank you for the kind words and everything. Yeah, sometimes I get a little discouraged, but I'll tell you what. Four Boxes Diner. You know what his name is. There are four boxes of democracy. We're on box number 3. If box number 3 fails and you jump to box number 4, it's gonna get ugly. Unless you want us looking like the Balkans, that's what it looks like. And so I have to believe that we're going to prevail because otherwise it's going to be a different world. And I don't think everybody understands exactly what that looks like. So, not ready for that just yet. But we're on box number 3. Got to have hope. So far, I mean, New York took a long time to get here, but it came out the right way. So, you know, give me a Republican Senate, give me a Republican president, and we'll be good for a generation. Yes, Warsaw, I think Calkins definitely screwed the pooch on some stuff. Oh, safe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For Amadeus, don't have one of those headspace and timing gauges handy. But the new ones don't require all the same headspace and timing, from what I understand. 808, welcome. Grab a cocktail, pull up a chair. Yeah, DeVore was right. He called it. Letterman, some judges are. Some judges. Obviously, judges like Benitez and McGlynn are not. Even the judge out east in the New York case got it right. So, Toby, have no idea. Don't have any idea why he did what he did. Gabriel, yeah. If the Chevron case goes down the way I think it's going to go down, the administrative state will have a whole new set of hurdles in front of it. Really. And that would be good. Good for all of us. Uh, yeah, Peanut Jack is generally my go to drink. It's easy to find. Partially a creature of habit. I like Jack. It's easy to find. You go to most bars, it's rare that they don't have it. So it's just easy to do. Chris, you're right. It is confusing. We'll see what the courts say about all that. Peanut, well, typical Jack isn't that bad. They'll select, and this can get a little spendy, but you know what? I can't take the I can't take the money with me, so might as well enjoy it now that I'm retired. Save, yeah. There was definitely 5 years with Brown v. Board of Education, so I expect we're going to have a little bit of this pushback. That's why I think if we get, my thinking is we will see possibly Rahimi and Range merged. You'll get a ruling on that. You'll have a ruling on one of the APA cases, bump stocks, frames or receivers, or pistol braces. I think frames and receivers is the best one. And I think you're likely to see a semi auto ban in front of the court. And you could have those three rulings next June. And if those three rulings come out in our favor, then I think, you know, the other side's hands get tied, and then they will run against the court and against guns headlong. And the Republicans need to have a plan for that. Let's see. Yeah, shooter. My wife says I'm not retired. I just have a job that doesn't pay anything. But skydiver, yeah. Yeah, I put hours on those cats out at the range. I really like that D5. It was nice having air conditioning in the cab yesterday afternoon. Uh, Alan, it's both. Yeah, Chris, it's going to be really interesting to see how they try to enforce this come January and next year. Big, no, I'll be out at the club for the swap meet. I'm not going to be out there shooting more than likely. I may throw a gun in the truck just to take a chance at something. Wilbur, I don't think the right to repair cars or farm equipment or anything like that is that helpful in our case, simply because we're talking about a constitutional right. It follows a different chain of logic. Theirs is about owning property, and once you pay for it, it's yours. Um, Ours is more along constitutional lines, so it's a little different. Yeah, 808. I definitely need to build a still. Uh, Ruger guy, compliance rate. Well, that depends on how you measure compliance. If my buddy sits there and registers 10,000 springs, then the state police will claim all kinds of compliance. If he doesn't register 10,000 springs individually, um, I think, math here real quick. No, that's 25 million. 2.5 million. So 10% would be 250,000. I'm gonna say that that's gonna be the over underline 250,000 individuals register, whether or not they register, and I think it's likely to be under. Now there's two groups of individuals. There are individuals that know they have an AR-15 and need to register it. And there are those who don't understand that their 1022 or their shotgun or something is qualifies as so-called assault weapon. And if you add all those guys in, yeah, I think it's going to be because they don't know they're supposed to register this stuff. And then the question is whether or not they would or they wouldn't. Uh, yeah, I don't think they're going to get. I will be surprised if our compliance rate beats Massachusetts, Maryland, New York, or any of those other states, which we're all typically hovering around 13%. Chris, there's a slew of 6 cases that were combined. We're all kind of like on the same level for our stuff. Um, for the semi-auto bang, yeah, we're all at the same level. We're with Maryland, who's waiting out a decision. We're ahead of California, who's still at the district court level, and I think Delaware's up at the appellate court level, so we're ahead of them. Yeah, base. That all depends on how they do the registration form, and I haven't seen one yet. So, yeah, Toby, ATF only got 250,000 out of millions. So, Ruger depends on how. I don't know what the appellate court's going to do. I'm not thinking that Easterbrook's going to break our way. I just don't think so. Hey, Bobby. He can come over here for a second. Grayson, is he asleep?
Yes.
Small grandson's asleep. Here's the bigger guy. Hi, wave. Wave to everybody, Grayson. Wave. Okay, say night, night. Good night, buddy. Bye. Well, the little guy was asleep. Jake was taking him up to bed. So, um, anyways, yeah. My thing is, I think something gets to the Supreme Court this term, and I think we get something in June. That's my best guess, my most optimistic guess. Well, Peanut Miller is only at the district court level. Miller is not at the appellate court level. We're at the appellate court level. Maryland's at the appellate court level. And all in our sets of case between Maryland and Illinois have been argued. We're waiting on a decision. Miller is still pending at Judge Benitez at the district court. And if Benitez does what I think he's going to do and rules in our favor, Benitez then goes to the Court of Appeals. And the Court of Appeals is going to have at least 90 days of briefings before orals. So they're at least 90 days behind us no matter what. So yeah, Miller's not close to us. Hey Roman. Yeah. See what else we got here. Yes, we're two grandsons. I have a 5-month-old grandson and a 2-year-old grandson. I don't know, James. We'll see what it all looks like. I think that with some of that, that's ripe for some Fourth Amendment challenges. Doyle, retired Ellie's, no. I doubt they're going to allow for paper. Although I think by virtue of the statute, they're going to have to do certain things. We'll see. All right, Bassett. So in the court, you have the Seventh Circuit. The Seventh Circuit encompasses Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois. You have the districts within the Seventh Circuit. So in Illinois, we have 3 districts. We have the Northern District, we have the Central District, and we have the Southern District. The Northern District is broken into 2 sides: the Western Division, which is everything from McHenry County over, and the Eastern Division, which is Lake, Cook, DuPage. And so that is the Eastern Division. The Court of Appeals, so you've got the district court within the Seventh Circuit, then you have the Court of Appeals, and that's where Easterbrook sits. And they are referred to as circuit judges just because. So, and from there, it goes on up. Now you have magistrate judges, which are like administrative judges, and that's different. But that's my layman's understanding of how it all is. So Easterbrook he caught the motions. He was the judge for motions, just like you're pulling night duty tonight. He caught the motions for that particular day when stuff went up, and he made the decision. And that's him. So just how it rolls. And sometimes the motions panel can hang on to stuff if they've made certain stipulations. And it looks like in this case, said motions panel decided to retain jurisdiction. So, Patrick, that depends. I think we would argue that we are the first band in the country post New York. And therefore, for us, it's a change. The status quo would be no registration. Unlike California, Massachusetts, other states that have had it for years, we're in a different ballpark. So, uh, uh, Letterman, I don't agree with that. ACB had a chance to do something, yes, but I think they still want to see how the courts flush out the New York decision. And I think that's why it's important. There's a concept for a brief that I've been working on that says, look, it took them 72 hours to pass this. Here we are 7 months later, still trying to retain our rights. This isn't justice. And moving on stuff faster and getting the court to be more proactive and putting their foot down is helpful about this. So I think they're still trying to let it play out because the left has done a decent job of demonizing them based on, the Merrick Garland refusal, rushing Amy Coney Barrett through, before the election and stuff like that. And the left has monopolized the talking points on all that. And because of that, I think they're a little sensitive to it. No, I'm too old to go to law school, Roger. That might have been something 15 years ago, but I am too old to go to law school since I don't even have an associate's degree. But who knows? I might get arrested and I might defend myself pro se, and we'll see what that looks like. So, guys, we're knocking on 9 o'clock. That puts us at an hour and a half. I'm not going to spend all night here. I just thought that I would offer up a chance to answer some questions, chat a little bit, let everybody know. Haven't gone away, haven't been pulled off YouTube. Just there's only so many hours in the day with everything going on. And I still have to pack up for a swap meet tomorrow night. So, with all that, I'm going to say thank you very much to the questions. Uh, let's see. Good. I'm looking at the last little bit here. Uh, yeah. So, with that, all guys, thank you for the questions, the comments, the accolades, whatever. It's all good to talk to you, chat with you guys, see what there is. And with all that, enjoy a cold one and frag out. Cheers.